Hey, I'm Blake Burch, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Shipyard. And today, I'm going to tell you about 5 ways that you can use your data to take your organization to the next level. First off, you want to try and make sure that you centralize all of your data in a cloud data warehouse, whether that's Redshift, BigQuery, or Snowflake. It doesn't really matter, but you need all of that data living in one location. At the point that you have it living all in one location, and hopefully you've cleaned it up along the way, you want to send that data out to every other SaaS tool that you're using. So that means you want your Salesforce data to live in your warehouse and then be sent out to Intercom and MailChimp or Zendesk or any other tools that you're using. And the goal here is to try and make sure that the data that one team is generating from their efforts gets shared with all the other teams so that it can be used to accelerate what they're doing for the business. For instance, someone working on support may want to know what has been talked about with a customer via sales or what sort of marketing material they've engaged with. When you can centralize this data and send it out to each of these tools through a process called reverse ETL, you're going to be in a much better spot to be able to activate and use your data. Number 2, you want to try and build out real-time alerts for the good and bad things that happen in your business using the data in your warehouse. The alerts that you build out should be extremely actionable so that you don't end up with notification overload. For example, let's say that a prospect has visited the pricing page and they have previously talked with the sales team before. At that point, you should probably send the sales team an alert in Slack to let them know, hey, this prospect is actively engaging with us and is near the finish line. You should reach out to them. Later on, you could eventually automate that process and send the automated touchpoints based on them visiting that page. On the negative side of things, you could set up an alert that checks to make sure that subscriptions for your application are actually being processed every 24 hours. That should always be happening, but in the rare event that it's not happening, you would be able to receive an alert and immediately address the issue for your business. When you start thinking of building alerts for all of these different systems in your organization, you start changing how you think about the business. People will ask, what alerts can I build out to make sure that I'm checking things correctly? They'll start building task lists off of the alerts, and it makes sure that everything in the business that needs to get done, gets done. Number 3, you want to make sure that you prioritize automated self-service reporting. That means that your data sources should be available and be refreshable for anyone in your organization to build reports and dashboards off of. Because really too many organizations spend time just trying to gather data from various sources. Hours can get spent just putting a report together. And your goal is to eliminate the time building the report and instead use that time towards analyzing the report. But I would encourage you to go one step further and give your team a way that they can build dashboards on their own. Whether it's something like Power BI or it's something like Google Data Studio, you want users in the organization that are close to the data building out those reports and being able to tweak it because they're going to know things to look into the most, which is going to help accelerate your business by looking at data. Number 4, automate decisions first, save the machine learning for later. A lot of people try to jump straight in and solve the most complex problems with their data, but if you ask any data scientist, they're going to tell you that it's really difficult to move the needle effectively, and it takes months of research just to be able to come up with a solution that does. I really believe that a lot of organizations could be better served by spending a lot of their time and effort on taking all the tasks that are happening in the business, marking down every single data source that's related to those tasks, and figuring out which ones are taking the most time. If you can go through the process of building out those data sets and automating those tasks, you can end up saving a lot of time for your business. You don't have to be making a better decision. Just doing the decision automatically already frees up time for you to be able to do better things in the organization. Great examples are the marketing team might be looking at like search term reports for Google Ads on a weekly basis for like 4 hours at a time. You could take data sets for the search terms and apply some sort of logic that looks at any of the low performers and then automatically excludes those low performers from your keyword matches. You could also do this for something like HR, where maybe they need to reach out to people that haven't submitted their timesheets. If you have a data source with all your employees and a data source with all your timesheets filtered for the last 7 days, you can combine these two and find any people that haven't submitted those timesheets and then send them a quick email. You can look at your own business and figure out which of these tasks are going to be the most impactful, but this is a super powerful part of using your data to take things to the next level. Number 5, track data usage with metadata. This is an oftentimes overlooked step. A lot of teams just try to grab all the data and make sure that everything is available to their users, but they don't actually look at who's querying the data, how often is it being queried, what columns are constantly being pulled in. Each of these different pieces of data is extremely valuable to look at so that your team can build out more data sets for the things that are driving business value and can save on storage costs for those things that nobody is actually using. At my last role, we were building out a standardized data set for the entire organization to try and replace ad hoc data sets that people could set up. And we used metadata tracking to verify that over time, people were using our standardized data sets more and more. For people that were power users, we could work with them to build out use cases. For people that were underutilizing things, we could work with them to figure out what additional data sets could we set up that would be standardized that would cause them to use the data more frequently. I think metadata is a very powerful feature that can help accelerate the value that your data team is able to provide to your entire organization. Those are the 5 ways you can use data to take your company to the next level. I hope some of these have been helpful and that you'll be able to really accelerate your organization.